Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Monday. It's December 16th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And it was rollover day, so you should be rolling over to the March contract now. If you didn't roll over today, definitely roll over tomorrow. I went ahead and rolled today. You can see this is today's bar on the daily. This is the March contract. It doesn't look much different than the previous contract. Um, and we're still working sideways in this kind of congestion here. So it pretty much didn't change the chart at all by flipping over. But we just continue to work sideways here in this congestion. So we've definitely relieved a lot of the overbought situation that we did have. So we're getting close to the midline. This middle line here, this purple line, is a midline. It's a 21 EMA. Just like any other 21 EMA. Now the other bars are different. They're based on some different criteria. But this middle bar here is a 21 EMA. So prices we haven't quite got back to that EMA. I would think we would bounce off that before we might go higher, but this market's a little odd. Who knows what it's going to do? So um, the volume continues to be lighter. Not, I mean, we had some good movement, just not many setups. And I just expect that it's going to continue to be that way the closer we get to Christmas. So just expect that most likely. Doesn't mean we couldn't have a huge move in either direction before it's over, but generally the market slows down as we get into Christmas. I'm going to extend this out a little bit. So there it is, and you can see if we back out here, it still looks pretty much like the previous chart did. So it might be a little tighter than the other one was, but still looks very similar. But let's flip over to the 2000 tick chart. We'll take a look at the chart real quickly, and then we'll go through the trades. But it's pretty much an update. We closed off the highs, but we traded up most of the day. But let's flip over there and take a look. Okay, here's our 2000 tick chart for today. And real quickly, before we get into the chart lesson, I'm just going to kind of give you a heads up on. I'm going to work through Wednesday this week. I may work Thursday. I still haven't decided yet. Most likely, I'm going to work through Wednesday, and then I'm going to take. So we'll have a regular day today, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then I'm fairly certain I'm going to take off Thursday and start my holiday on Thursday, and I'll take off through the end of the year, and we'll be back. Most likely, I'll be back on January 2nd, but January 2nd ends. It comes on like a Thursday this year. The Christmas is a little, and New Year's is a little later, like in the middle of the week. So depending on what's going on, I'll probably be back on the 2nd. But since that's on a Thursday, I may just wait until the following Monday and come in. So I may not come back in until that following Monday after the 2nd. And I think that's like the 2nd's on the Thursday, I believe. So that'll be third, fourth, fifth. I think it'd be the 6th on Monday the 6th. So I don't know if I'm gonna leave on Wednesday or Thursday, and I don't know if I'm gonna come back on Thursday or Monday. So it's still kind of up in the air. It just depends on how things are going. Usually by the 2nd, I'm stir crazy and ready to get back to work. So I may just come on back on that Thursday and work Thursday and Friday. But I'm just not sure yet. Depends on how things are going, what I'm up to, if I've got anything going on personally or whatever. And so, but I know for certain that I'm going to take off most likely. I'll take, at the very least, we'll work through Wednesday and maybe through Thursday this week. I just haven't decided yet. I'm thinking, I'm about decided that I'm probably just going to take off, work through Wednesday and take Thursday and Friday and the rest of the year off. So just be prepared for that. No chart lessons during that period. And I'll have limited access to email. I will check my email from time to time. But I will have limited access to it, so I won't be on top of it every day like normal. But anyway, let's get to the chart lesson here. We did have some more PMI news, high volatility news today. Didn't really affect the market much. You can see I marked it out right here. I did mark one trade in there, but most likely you wouldn't take that trade 10 minutes prior. I did like the trade, but it is. I actually marked them both in there, but you probably wouldn't want to take them. You might take this one because it was obvious there wasn't much going on then. This one was maybe 10 minutes prior, so you might have been out before the news went off. It just depends. So generally, I say don't take any trades in here, but I just marked them because there wasn't much to mark today. So you can look at them and see what you think about. I'll actually go through them, just explain why, if it wasn't for the news, they'd be good trades. But 7 o'clock came as we're coming up through here, right up through here on this rally, and there's just no setups there. And we finally make a high, and we come out and we get a first entry and we get a second entry here. And you might even say there's a triple test across there. We didn't quite get back to make a test, but you got a channel working down, and you did get a close outside on this channel. Then a move to a new low, and it bounced right, kind of made a double bottom there. And so when it breaks higher here, it's really above this bar that's the second entry, but there's still plenty of room left, and so you could have entered above this one. It doesn't quite make its new high yet, but it gets an easy scalp. There's more than enough room. Then it comes back and gives you another second entry. Again, it was when it broke above this bar, but this is also a engulfing bar, so most of you are probably better off just ignore this. But a break above that, I mean, it's obvious we got a triple test there by now. It's a little congested, so I'm not crazy about it, but it is a second entry, so maybe you take that trade. And I think that trade was at 848, so it was pretty obvious that by that point the market, there wasn't going to be a lot of volatility, so you might enter there. You probably could have marked this off right here and taken that trade. And again, it's green, it's not ideal, but there it is. So if you took it, I'd be okay with it. And we do get a break. It looks like we're in a range here, which we are, and we get a failed breakout here. You actually get a lower high too. You don't get a signal bar on either one of them. Runs down, it fails out the other side, and this looks like an overshoot, a big overshoot here. So we're way away from the EMA, and you get this nice reversal bar. I like possibly if you're taking that on the failed breakout. Again, you're better off to wait on the higher low, as you would on most all breakouts, just to be sure you're starting to make higher highs and higher lows again. But you don't get a higher low on this one; it just takes off. Shoots right through the other side, pulls back and tests it, goes higher. And you actually get a second entry short there, but I wouldn't enter. And then you're just kind of chopping sideways here. I don't see anything I like. There is a second entry long here. I didn't mark this one, but it's one you might take. It just looks really congested, but clearly there's two legs back there. Actually, it's not a second entry. It's a third entry because you see you got a little break here, and then there's your second entry that fails. And turns down. You wouldn't want to go short there, I don't think. There's also a second entry short here, but by that time it really looks congested. But it still looks like two legs back, so you might take that one. You know, I'd be okay marking that green. If you took it, it's a little aggressive, but there's reasons to consider it. It clearly looks like two legs back to the EMA, and that's generally our, that's our bread and butter entry. So maybe you take that one. It would have worked. It's not the best trade ever, but I mean, you actually have, I think you get one extra tick there. So you had a tick to spare. So it just barely works, but it works. And most second entries do. So, and then we just continue to chop sideways. We're in a two-tiered channel here. Notice we turn down. We do get a lower high here. I've marked this as a lower high. Again, it's not ideal. It's a fairly bearish bar, but it's really close to the midline. But there's plenty of room to the last couple of lows there. So, and the odds are we may go all the way to the other side. This looks really like a midline across here to me. And so I kind of expanded this here. Originally, I had it right across here, but I expanded it. And just an equal amount's basically what I did. And that went right to that line, to the tick, and then bounced. I don't think you can go long yet because it's really the first bounce there. You might say, okay, there was a second bounce here, but I think you need a triple test here. When you could have entered on, I tried to put this in the middle. You could have entered on either one of these bars here, whichever you choose. This is a better looking signal bar, but this one is like 5 ticks, very low risk. You got a triple test now, so if it breaks above it, it's probably going to be good for a scalp. So I think you could go, if you didn't go along above this one, you could this one. So either one of those bars, basically the same trade. You just get a little better entry, a little less risk on this one, because this one is like 7 ticks, so you're taking a little more risk there. Still reasonable bar though. Runs up. If you'd had a good signal bar here, you could have gone short, but you don't get it. And you bounce early here, so you might draw the trend line because something made that bounce there. So draw your trend line and see what happens. And sure enough, you get a confirmation of it back here. But we're still in this range for now. And you can see this is just like a pullback to retest it. But you need more than one test of it before you can go long there, in my opinion. There is a hidden second entry. It does confirm the trend line. It does come back and give you a breakout pullback long. But generally, you want to see it test that more than once. So I would say this is a possibility just because it confirms a trend line, and it is a hidden, it's a what I call a hidden second entry. It turns out to be a great move, but you're probably better off to skip it and wait because sometimes that'll fail. I didn't draw it here, but there is a trend line, trend channel. Notice you get your close outside new high. And there is a second entry short there, excuse me. There's a second entry short there. I don't think you want to trade that on the engulfing bar. By the time it closes, well, it's 9 ticks. It's not huge, but it's rather big for a low volatility day like today. But you're still way away from the EMA. So it's a possibility because you do have a close outside and a new high here. So there's a good chance it's coming back. You might say there's a lower high here, but I think it moved too far. It doesn't come back close enough. It's really sideways. You definitely don't want to go short right there into the trend line on the first entry or into the EMA on the first entry. The odds are we're headed down here, but I'd be thinking long still. And of course, it does bounce here. This is just a first entry. So you're better off to wait on the higher low. I did mark this one as green because we do have the close outside a new low, and we are bouncing right off the key entry point again. But here's the better entry. You get another higher low here with a 2-bar matching low, a nice signal bar. It's 8 ticks. I like going long there. And it runs up here, makes a new high. So you got your close outside and at least 2 swings. It actually makes a third swing up, and then you make a lower high there. You might actually go short right there because it's just barely into the 230. That's like, it's not even 231 yet. And that's a lower high after the break of the channel. You get a break here and 2 legs up and then a lower high. So that's a possibility to go short. Now, you don't know that it's going to do this. You're just trying to see if it's going to reverse and get a scalp and maybe a little bit of a runner or whatever. This thing runs all the way back and almost fills that gap. This is a gap. There was a gap from this morning. And it had to trade down to here. Or actually, I'm sorry, that's where we opened. And we almost got back to the open. The gap was way down here, so we didn't get anywhere close to filling that. This is where we opened. So a lot of times prices will come back and test that open a few times. But this was a nice move. I'll mark it green for that reason. I mean, you're not expecting really to get this move. You're just looking to get a trade there at the end of the day. And I mean, that's 15 points. If you waited to the first bullish bar, I mean, it's easy 12 points. A quick, easy 12 points. But that's after 2:30. There's nothing else you can take there. So there it is. Not much happening. It's going to continue to be this way, most likely, through the rest of the holidays. And that's why I just take off and go enjoy the time and enjoy the break and enjoy the holidays. And because as we get closer to Christmas, more of your investment banks and things those people are all squaring up for the end of the year. They're not trading like they normally do. They're all taking vacation. They're all leaving. It's just a different atmosphere. The charts will be slightly different, and just not a lot of volume and stuff. So I was actually surprised for a rollover day. There's a good bit of volume, and it may be because there is rollover. So there's more volume than we've kind of been seeing for a rollover day, I think. So, but it could be because it is rollover day and they're just squaring up contracts and things like that. So I was surprised it didn't look like we were going to have much volume at all early, but it did pick up a little bit. It's still a low volume day, don't get me wrong, but there ended up being more movement here than I expected. So, but there it is. Not much else you can say about today. Really kind of weak day. It'll probably be like this tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday as well. And it's just going to get slower and slower as we go into the holiday, most likely. Doesn't mean something couldn't happen. Doesn't mean the market couldn't explode and go in either direction. Um, there's a lot of crazy things going on. I don't know if any of y'all are keeping up with the drone stuff up in the Northeast. I guess they're seeing them all over the world and the country too, but it seems like New Jersey is where most of the um, action with those things is going on. It's really interesting and curious as to what's going on. If any of y'all live up there, if you got any insight, share it with us because it's really interesting. So um, the fact that our government says they have no idea what it is, I just find that hard to believe. So um, anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. It's going to be a short week again. If you just as a recap, I'm going to work through Wednesday, and then I'm going to take the rest of the year off. I might work Thursday again. I haven't. It just depends on what the weather's like, and I mean I need to do some Christmas shopping and things like that. So most likely I'm going to go ahead and take off starting Wednesday, start my vacation, and I'll be gone the rest of the year. So I won't see you again. We won't do another chart lesson until 2025 after that. So I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be back for sure. Hope you had a good trading day. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.